Now, thanks to a new rule in college sports, student athletes can now make money from their name, image, and likeness by entering potentially lucrative sponsorship deals.
NIL remains on everybody's mind, and it's a new day in college sports.
The formal settlement last night around 6:10 West Coast time is a giant moment in the history of college sports.
Settlement opens the door for schools to pay athletes directly.
College athletics is constantly shifting. With revenue sharing just around the corner, Mizzou Athletics has been focusing on ways to elevate MU's position and capitalize on the upcoming opportunities.
Driven by bigger media deals, expanded playoffs, conference realignment, among the factors changing the college landscape.
Everybody's kind of scrambling and put themselves in the best position. We're introducing the most consequential time we have seen yet.
What is this going to mean now, 5 years down, 10 years down the road?
The word change has echoed around college athletics louder than ever before the past few years. Ideas that felt distant and hypothetical less than a decade ago are now everyday life for athletic departments across the country. In an era defined by uncertainty, success means managing the chaos of today while building the infrastructure for tomorrow. For Mizzou Athletics Director Laird Veatch, that starts with a process we can actually see: the physical construction of Memorial Stadium's historic north end zone.
Well, if we're going to talk metaphors, right? North end zone, stadium under construction, and there is all kinds of construction going on in college football, which is what everything else flows from in college athletics.
Yeah.
Right, we got to get this project right, got to get football right, and then everything else can stay healthy off.
Yeah.
So this then allows us to do that happen.
Yeah, this is an incredible statement. When I was hired for this job, they were telling me about this project, and I was super excited. It's like a championship statement that we're moving forward with this in the midst of all the other things we're dealing with. And thus is college sports, right? We move from one thing, and then we're right into asking for something else. But it's pretty incredible when you get up here. Great progress and beautiful place.
The project's success in 2026 and beyond can't be measured by square footage. Instead, it will be evaluated by the energy, connection, and the memories people make here. College sports as a whole is defined in the same way. Headlines and hot takes drive the conversation, but if we truly want to understand where things are headed, we have to look deeper at what these changes really mean for the sports we care about. Student-athlete empowerment, competitive balance, and the overall structure of college athletics will continue to evolve, so the narrative around it needs to evolve as well.
Part of the series is to explain those things to people, because I don't think that you got to inform and educate your audience,
right,
your fans, and what's going on here. Where do you start? Because it is so different all the time. Like, you're like, okay, here's the jumping off point.
That was one of the things we struggled as we were talking about a staff, is how do we really get this communicated effectively? And that's when they came up with this idea of kind of a deep dive series into the different elements, but not just like explaining NIL and revenue sharing. It's important for fans to understand some of the basics, and we'll plan on getting into that, but it's also important for them to understand how it really impacts our coaches, our student athletes, how we are approaching things behind the scenes, just the day-to-day time and resources and strategy behind all of it. I mean, it's consuming, right? I mean, it's what we think about and deal with all the time. I am less and less, almost unfortunately never, it feels like I'm in a practice or I'm at a deal with, it's a different world now. So we're going to try to give our fans a sense for what's really happening behind the scenes.
It's funny because I did talk to Coach Drinkowitz about that when I said, you just treasure those 2.5 hours of practice. No phone calls, no anything. It's like, oh my gosh, to be on the field's an amazing thing. People are complaining about this a lot. And they're going to keep, and if you want to keep complaining, that's fine, but now you're howling at the moon, right? You kind of have to accept and adapt.
Right.
Where are we accepting? Where are we adapting?
Yeah. That's actually one of the things I am proudest of, and I don't take credit for it because this was a Mizzou mentality before I got here, but we're embracing this, right? I mean, we are being very intentional, very innovative on the front end, looking at it as a chance to elevate, and it really is, because if you stop and think about it, anytime you have any kind of market, college athletics a market right now, you go through a massive shift. It's a time when organizations that are thoughtful and strategic and have upside, have ability to grow, it's a time for them to take advantage of if they're willing to. But you got to be willing to invest. You got to be willing to think about things differently. You got to be willing to be aggressive. And that's what we've been doing here. And I want our fans to kind of see and understand that sort of behind the scenes approach, but also, you know, what we need to collectively come together and realize our unrealized potential.
For generations, the heart of college sports has always been discovering that unrealized potential for success. In 2026, the game has evolved. Now, more than ever, the future will only belong to programs with a shared vision and set of values that turn today's opportunities into tomorrow's edge.
So that's where I want to go kind of to conclude before we jump into all these explanations is what's the opportunity here?
Yeah.
That we're in the midst of, I guess we're trying to finish this, but we're also starting some things here. What's the opportunity?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And, you know, as we get towards the end of this series, I really see us getting to a point where we can really articulate our vision for the future, what we see here at Mizzou and what the opportunity is. But as I've stepped back, and I've been here a year and a half now with our team and all the people we've worked with, there is a real opportunity for us to elevate and get to a point where we are consistently competing for championships. That opportunity was much more difficult even 5 or 10 years ago than it is now, right? Because of the changing landscape. But it's hard, right? I mean, it takes real commitment, it takes investment, and I'm excited about working with our team and then getting to a point here, even in this series, to get into the details of what we see that being and what it can be and what it's going to take to get there. But there is a real opportunity for us to impact this place. And it's important because, I mean, you think about the impact on our brand, the university, right? Not just Mizzou football or Mizzou basketball or any of our sports, but the university brand, the state economy, enrollment. I mean, there are big ripple effects.
Yeah.
When we get to the point where we are winning, we've got great momentum, we're doing great things, but as Coach Drinkwitz has shared, we're still climbing the mountain, right? We're not quite there yet. So how do we get there? And then stop and think about the ripple effects once we do and once we continue to. It's pretty massive. It's an awesome opportunity, but it's going to take a lot of commitment, a lot of time and effort.
Well, then as we go forward, the installments that you're going to see here over the next few weeks to inform and to educate and, dare I say, lay the blueprint for what college athletics will look like going forward.
Mizzou has drawn the blueprint. How it's executed will shape the next decade of Tiger athletics. Like a training camp setting the tone for the season, the decisions unfolding now will decide what happens next. Only here, the stakes are higher. What impact will these decisions have? What windows of opportunities are there? And who will capitalize when they open? As the dust settles on the new front porch of Memorial Stadium, the real groundwork begins in the team facilities.
You know, you're constantly balancing, you know, how much do we want to pay for this position? What is the total cap number that we're going to operate with? You know, this past year we've got 2 elite running backs. And so are we willing to put more money into the running back position and maybe take away from a different position or things of that nature? And, you know, those are decisions that everybody's got to make based off of the talent that you can acquire.